Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I hold my microphone like a wine glass for absolutely no reason, just because I want to have it in the shot, because I like it. Anyway, I have another entry for you guys, and I think this is the start of, my downfall just by looking at the first sentence. This one's taken from January 21st, 2025. My final semester of college starts today, but I have no classes. Therefore, I spent the time catching up with Britt. We went to lunch and talked like usual. After that, I took her back to her boyfriend's house. On our way there, I asked her how the relationship was, and she said she felt a sense of clarity and naturalness to it. For her, she appreciates how he also plans things for the both of them, and how he likes going to concerts like her. I am happy for her, and more so have a sense of hindsight in that I was never going to be with Britt because I simply cannot fulfill her desire to go to concerts with others. They're just not my speed. On another note, I started reading the Bible. Why? Well, it's the only book in my collection that I haven't read. Not only that, but I would like to know why people call this book life changing. Finally, I would like to learn about my own religion. I'm doing this out of my own volition now, instead of guilt for not reading it, and by not knowing anything about it. There was a memory that is highly embarrassing to me that made me feel ashamed for not having read it. I'm also reading the Bible to help rid myself from the distraction that is my phone, and even more personal, to once and for all, cure my addiction to masturbation and lewd content. God is with me. Wow, actually, that was not what I expected from that intro. So let's start off with the Bible. I read Genesis, and I'm halfway-ish through Exodus, and I have not touched the Bible in like a week because school is so much right now. Now, there could be an argument. Don't you play video games? Didn't you say in your last video that you had video games that you played? Yeah, you're not wrong. For me, the video games are a little bit more entertaining than the Bible, but I will say the Bible is entertaining to read. And the queue times for Apex aren't as long as what they were last season. For last season, they were like a minute or two long, but now they're actually pretty quick. Let me go back to the embarrassing moment now about the Bible. I went to this Sunday school, or this like Sunday school like one night camp thing where they were like, "Oh, let's quiz your knowledge on the Bible" and stuff like that. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I joined it because I had a friend ask me, and I was like, "Sure, why not go to see what it's like?" And the vibes were all good and everything, and I was chilling. But then we had Jeopardy, and there was two teams. I was on one of them, and you tap something to buzz in or whatnot. And the question was, what's the first book of the Bible? At the time, I did not know what the first book of the Bible was, but what I was first at was pressing the buzzer. And so then I stood there and I just stared. And my body temperature started to rise from how embarrassing it was, me standing there not knowing the first book of the Bible. Because everyone else there, at least I would think, already knew what it was. For those of you who don't know, the first book of the Bible is Genesis, which is a word to mean the beginning. I remember after that night, I went back home, opened up my Bible, looked at it, and I said, "Yep, that it is Genesis." And then I looked at the second one and said, "Okay, just in case they ask, or anyone on the street asks me, hey, what's the second book of the Bible?" I could say Exodus. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty funny how I had not just waited patiently to hear the entirety of the question. I was like half a second faster than someone else who was going to buzz in. That's unfortunate. Maybe I should have let them have the point, the other team. Going back even further now to the first thing that was mentioned was Britt. I've known Britt since the beginning of college. Basically, I met her in a lab, in not the same lab, but in the same like hallway, because we both had a lab. And I remember I was wearing my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure shirt, and she pointed it out, said she liked it. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then a week went by. She wasn't there. And I was like, oh, gosh. And then she showed up. We got to talk a little bit before class. And then every week, we would talk. We finally exchanged our Instagrams and whatnot. And it's been a long road with her. And it's weird now being on the other side, seeing how I was never going to end up being with her, because I personally am introverted when it comes to certain events. Or maybe not introverted, but maybe I have standards of what I want to do if I'm going somewhere public. Like for me, I would be interested in going to a party where it's kind of within someone's office. I say office space, but I haven't been working for a company much at all that I would say. I say office space, but I've never been to like an office party before. But some sort of space where it's some people and where the stakes don't feel too high of, people partying and loud music. It's just, I'm more of like, let's have a chillaxed party. Like, if we're going to go ballistic with something, then maybe it's something along the lines of like a Great Gatsby party where all the people, meet at this one person's house and we have a grand time. And for her, I was never meeting the requirement of going out to music events, because that for her is something that's a big part of her life, because she has always grown up loving music just as much as I have, but she's also been partaking in making music, and she's also been partaking in getting connections with people within the music industry. And so for me, that was never my thing. I liked music because I liked listening to it. I liked to make my own little melodies, as you guys have seen with the album Discovery. And don't worry, there's more songs on the way. I just want to, I need to upload them. Let's just say that. But for her, it was such a key component of her life and the way she wanted to live that she wanted someone to match that. And I never did. And all of it, comes rushing back when I'm talking about her, because I think about, like I said, how we first met. I think about the bike ride we have. I think about when I met her mom. I think about how we would go out for lunches. I remember the first time we went out to eat together. I remember going on a bike ride during the summer, I believe. I remember her eating ice cream and spilling it on the passenger seat of my car. It was Oreo ice cream. I remember the one time we made out not too long ago, actually, and that was before she got her boyfriend. And when I had felt and realized that that was all the love I had left for her. I don't know how to feel about her anymore. I mean, she's made it clear, like, hey, if you need to take space away from me, that's fine. Because I get it. I've told her I loved her before. And I have meant it for so long. It sucks. It sucks. I loved her. And I tried my hardest to be open with her about like going to concerts. I tried to go to like a little concert with her before. And during that time, I got nervous. We showed up. It was a small room with like 10, 12 people, and I panicked. I didn't feel comfortable in that space. Now, she took me home because she understood, but I felt so bad that I couldn't. And I don't know why. I never thought to myself, man, this is something that she likes to do often, because she talks about it. Why have I not picked up on the fact that I don't like doing it, stuff like that. Maybe I'm not for her. I think part of me was just straight up blinded by how amazing of a person she was. Holding on to the thought that maybe she'll like you back. It sucks, but I have to move on. I mean, we send each other memes, but does it really mean anything anymore? Do I really care about it anymore? If she were to ask me if she wanted to go out and have lunch, would I care anymore? And right now, the way I'm feeling is no. I don't. Not because I'm like, not out of like any sort of disdain or anger or jealousy, but just because emotionally, I'd be miserable. Because if I see her, all I would think about is how much time I've spent, loving her, and to never see it fully mature into a relationship. If there's one thing that I would say that can be taken away from this experience, is that if I really like someone and there is some key component to their life and the way they live that I cannot meet, I need to first be open to them about it and tell them, hey, I personally am not a huge fan of doing this. It's not a hobby of mine, or I socially cannot maintain this amount of energy. Then if they are, not okay with that, or not open to it, then I need to move on. Because then that just tells me that there's no reason this person is going to want to be with me if I cannot meet at least their criteria of having a similar hobby. Anyway, guys, still going to be pre-recording this stuff despite how late it is and despite how much I should be getting sleep, because I'm in one of those moods where I don't care. So, I'll see you guys. Peace.